Hey, it looks like it's working. All right, awesome. Need to share my screen. Okay, so go here, share my screen. Go here, do that. Okay, well, hello and welcome, folks. I think I did it right this time. I think we got everything up and running. So good to be back. Good to have you back, Ray.
Absolutely.
We were running solo last week, all over the place. All right. Well, folks, in case you don't know who I am, I'm Joseph Smith. This is my partner, Mr. Ray Fleming. We're the Wise Guys in Ties. And what are we here to talk about today? We're here to talk about how we love technology and how it works. Come on now. There we go. We are going to be talking about collateral-based funding. Oh man, I'm telling you, this is exciting stuff. We've been covering a lot of different funding options that are open to businesses out there. But you know what I really wanted to do is right before we go into collateral, I really wanted to help bring up to speed. Ray, do you have a moment to bring our folks up to speed on what character, capacity, cash flow, and credit is before we go into collateral?
Yeah, we could do that real quick. So character is really the way that you're looking on paper. Character issues arise when many times we're doing things inaccurately and we don't even realize it. So for example, if you wanted to borrow money and you have multiple different addresses with multiple different agencies, that could be kind of viewed as you're trying to create confusion and deceit when in reality, you just haven't gotten around to lining everything up. So that can start to be a question on the character of the business. The capacity, this is really how long you've been in business, is also your ability to pay your bills. This is looking at what do you have as far as the capacity to take on more debt.
Like your track record.
Your track record, that's really what it is. Cash flow, that's going into how much revenue you have coming into your business through multiple different resources, your positive ending bank balances, your bank deposits, really what type of revenue is flowing through the company, and then credit. That could either be attached or not attached to your personal credit. More specifically, does your business itself have a track record of opening up accounts and paying its bills on time? And then today, diving in collateral.
We're talking into collateral. This is what we call our 5 C's of funding. So, I mean, we spend a lot of time talking with folks how to just build character. Because as Ray said, I mean, the way the banks look at you, the way lenders look at you, is if anything doesn't match up, if anything doesn't match up in your business, what that means is that the bank doesn't want to sit here and try and figure out, what, did you make a mistake or anything? They just think you're committing fraud. You have some kind of character issue. So we want to avoid all kinds of character issues by doing everything right and making sure that our name, our address, our phone number, email, everything matches across the board. So as we go through all of these steps of getting people funding, those last 3, cash flow, credit, and collateral, these are the final criteria or criterion, if you want to be specific. This is what lenders are looking at to qualify you for a loan. Do you have cash flow? There's all kinds of lenders that will lend to you based off your revenue. Do you have personal credit, business credit, bank credit, or all of the above, or just one of the 3? If you have that, there are different lending products or tools that are available to you. And then collateral. And there's so many things that we could talk about collateral. Here's what we're going to get into today. This is what I'm excited about. Collateral-based funding. There's so many different gems in here. You know what I love about collateral-based funding? All of this funding is available even when the economy is in a downturn.
Ooh,
this is beautiful. Like recession-proof funding for your business.
That's powerful, especially, during hard times, yes.
So what can be collateralized? Well, it turns out a lot of things can be collateralized. You have things you can collateralize on your business side, and you have things that you can collateralize on your personal side. So if you have a business with accounts receivable, purchase orders, if you're an insurance agent with a book of business, What kind of equipment do you have or inventory? Do you have commercial real estate or vehicles? And then on your personal side, you can collateralize all kinds of securities, stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs, your own personal real estate. So with all of the different ways that you can get funding, let's dive in and talk about some of these during this 30 minutes we have to think outside the bank. Hard money. What do we use hard money for? There's a little hint. I put a little picture of, our picture is covering that.
It's most commonly associated with, real estate, hard money, and real estate, typically fix and flipping, real estate, rehabbing properties. That's typically what people associate hard money with.
Exactly. And it takes money to make the money, right, in real estate?
Absolutely.
But here's what I love about the hard money. Love it. Well, let me just get all the information on the screen. This is money you can get fast. Like if you're at the auction and you find a house and it's like, yes, I'm going to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hard money lenders have apps. Like you can send photos and numbers and all through an app. And so not only can they evaluate the deal, they can get you the funding quick. Not that you're always going to be at foreclosure auction, but I just throw that out there because could we be headed to a time when there's going to be a lot of foreclosure auctions coming?
Definitely.
So what happens is hard money is money that's available fast to you. If you're in the real estate business, you probably already know this, but lenders will lend you anywhere from 55% if you're just starting off up to 80%. I've even seen some hard money lenders lend the full 100%.
Yeah, that usually requires a personal credit check to get 100%, but they will do 100% and fund the rehab as well.
Now they're always looking to be in first position to protect their money. They don't want to be in second or third position at all, but they give a lot of short terms. I mean, well, nowadays, hard money lenders are coming up with all kinds of crazy products, but traditionally they've been a short term, like 6-month loan, but now you can get hard money for a year up to 30 years. Again, those, like you said, will require some personal credit checks, or you have to, sometimes, we always talk about a personal guarantee or a personal credit check or personal credit, but it doesn't always have to be yours, does it?
Nope, it does not. You
can have a guarantor. So I like that hard money has a lot of variations. I mean, some people get hard money for as little as 6%. I've seen it as high as 18%, right? It's really competitive out there. And so a lot of hard money lenders are always trying to one up the other hard money lenders that are out there. The great thing about hard money is that the collateral of the asset that you're purchasing, that you're flipping, that's what the money is secured to. So if you don't do your deal right, if you mess it up, you're going to lose the whole property. But that's all you lose, so that's good. You're not like putting your own personal assets at risk there. So I like that. But you have to have skin in the game.
That's true. Yes. So they always want a little bit in the game.
And the thing that's difficult for a lot of people is like, wow, I want to do this deal and maybe it's going to take from acquisition and rehab $150,000 to get into this deal. And then the hard money lender's like, well, sure, if you put 30,000 in, we'll take care of the rest. And you're like, great, but I don't have 30,000.
There's so many folks that run into that situation, yet they have the ability to do it. They just need to figure out that small little amount to get them through, which is why business credit's so powerful.
Let me ask you something. With business credit, with your different lines of credit, you can get a proof of funds letter from your different credit issuers. Are there hard money lenders out there that will accept your proof of fund letters as your 30,000?
Absolutely.
So you wouldn't even have to actually put $30,000 of cash into the deal?
No. You don't necessarily have to do that. And we had interviewed Jean on the first business credit interview empowerment podcast, where she had used her business lines of credit in conjunction with hard money lenders to get those fix and flips done.
Stephen Weibel did the same thing too.
Yeah. So
hard money, it's out there. Now, a lot of you might be like, hey, I'm not a real estate investor. I want you to know that probably, I want to say 75% of our audience is real estate investors. I mean, and maybe 20% of our audience is truck drivers, and then 5% is everybody else. So we just want to make sure that we're getting the information out there that you need. Okay, so let's take a look. Commercial real estate funding, right? You like this stuff, don't you? This is the stuff that gets you excited.
Those big old loans.
So, okay, so commercial real estate funding is out there, loans from 75,000 up to 20 million. Now, typically when you're buying a property, they're only going to lend you anywhere between 55 to 65% of the value of your loan is going to be based off of the value of the property, but you're only going to get in your loan 55 to 65% of the value of the property. So what are they going to need? Well, they're going to need 2 years of financials, right? They're going to need tax returns, P&L statements, your debt schedule. Your business must have cash flow to be able to make the payments. You need to have a 650 FICO score, personal guarantee, and they want to have some pledged assets. You can get between 4 to 5% interest on this. One of the things that I think is very important is with this type of funding, even though it's collateral-based funding, a lot of it still requires the credit and the cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
These bigger, I mean, anytime you're going for a lot of money, there's no way around the personal guarantee or cash flow requirements. But here's what I like about, because a lot of people, they don't always think in commercial terms, but you could take 5 single family homes, a minimum of 5 or more. Why don't you finish that? You know where I'm going with that, right?
Yeah, 5 or more single residential properties. We were talking about this with our partners yesterday in our rental business, that coming up on this change of status in the economy, you know, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 years after the after effects of what's currently taking place. But there's going to be definitely a lot of people in residential homes that need some assistance. They're going to need to be able to sell their properties and sell them fast. Now, the great thing is once you have a collective of at least 5 of those, then you can start to refinance these into some larger real estate, commercial real estate loans, and where you're able to really see some more beneficial terms moving forward. Now, that's also powerful because that's going to help your business.
You know what, I just, for some reason, I feel like it's so hard to communicate the power of this. I mean, we're trying to communicate to our investors. Think about this. You've got 5 people, they can't make their bills, they're going into foreclosures, they each have their own individual mortgages, and they just can't quite seem to get it together because of hard times. You come in with no money out of pocket and you negotiate control over all 5 properties using a subject to, right? So now you have control, but now all of a sudden you have all these mortgages you got to pay.
Right. That could be, 5 separate mortgages.
Right. And who knows what stage you are in these mortgages. But largely the reason why a lot of people can't afford these mortgages is because they were in an ARM or, they just had a high interest rate to begin with. And so now you've got all these 6%, 7% different mortgages. You get all of them together in a bundle. You refinance the whole thing at 4% now. And you have a loan that covers all 5 of these properties. You then put in new tenants into each of these properties. Now, I mean, the loan that you get, this commercial loan, refinancing, stuff like that, I mean, this is a powerful way to, I mean, you're using single family residences, but you're using a commercial strategy. And you're being able to do this without any money out of pocket.
And then plus, I mean, instead of making 5 separate payments, bringing that into just one easy to manage payment. And then plus, you're also being able to combine power of the equity and implement credit banking strategies to get that debt reduced. And you only have that one payment really to worry about. That's some powerful stuff.
So when you think about having a business, like you and I, we have some real estate businesses that have 2 years of financials, tax returns, P&Ls, debt schedules, like we have all of this. And then the credit score of 650 to be able to be able to qualify, not difficult. And then, but the pledged assets, you can put up the properties themselves as the collateral.
Exactly.
How cool is that? I'm sorry, I just get excited about some of this stuff. Commercial vehicle funding. Okay, this is something very important because we do have a lot of truck drivers that are starting up their businesses or they're trying to do different things. Look, there's so much commercial vehicle funding that's out there for your big rigs, but I mean, buses, trucks, emergency vehicles. There's so many, any type of big vehicle that isn't your standard fare, right? There is commercial vehicle funding for that. And when you do this through your business, you can get all kinds of funding available for that without requiring a personal guarantee or credit check. Now, I thought another one would be, so, well, maybe.
It might be coming up.
It might be coming up. I know there's another one, the leaseback.
Leasebacks, yeah.
Yeah, all right. I forget sometimes how I put these slides together. Here. I want you to know that I really love accounts receivable funding. The number one type of asset-based lending that's out there. So your receivables are used as collateral. Your loan amounts could range anywhere from 5,000 to 20 million, right? It's going to be up to 90% of your receivables can be advanced, and this is quick.
Yes.
Like it's done in just a day because they use a type of what's called AI funding. So you give them access to your QuickBooks, and their computer algorithms kind of search and they make sure that basically you can account for all of your accounts receivables, that you have these monthly payments coming. They're just verifying your books and checking that against your bank records. It takes the computer algorithm like an hour, right? You apply for this by just submitting your logins to your bank account and to your QuickBooks, and in an hour you get an approval. Within 24 hours you get money in your bank account, and that's how fast this stuff goes. That's why I really like this. But you don't need your personal or business credit score because it's just based off of your accounts receivable and how many you have and how much cash flow's coming in. If you've just got a small business but you got a few accounts receivable on these small items, you can get a loan for 5,000, right? I mean, it's scalable and that's what I love about these things, because no matter if you're a small business or a big business, regardless of what's happening in the economy, see, there's so many different types of funding that's available out there, but when people start having to report tax returns that show, oh, in 2020 my income went down or my revenue has slowed down, well, lenders aren't comfortable lending to businesses that are in decline. So that's really hard. But collateral-based funding doesn't care about those factors because it is the asset that is the basis of the funding. So, so many great things about accounts receivable. Purchase order funding. I like this too. So with purchase order funding, $5,000 or more, up to 95% of your purchase orders can be advanced. 5% fee is released once actual invoice is paid. Anywhere from 1 to 4% interest rates. Again, no personal credit or business credit is needed. They usually will issue the letter of credit at the start, and you can't use it on unfinished goods. Pretty simple there.
Well, that's powerful though, because that's similar to like inventory financing, but folks have that sometimes where they maybe receive a giant order. Well, it's like 500,000 units.
It has to be another business. It can't be an individual.
Right.
And you're like automatically guaranteed this if your client is the U.S. government,
right,
or state government.
So you have, let's say you make puzzles, and then you have an order for 500,000 puzzles, and you're like, well, I need $500,000 to do this, and then so. That's
but if it was a public school system that was purchasing that, right? I mean, a government entity or another business that wanted to purchase all of that, right? Then you can get the funding.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Because that's what they do. They look at the business that's purchasing it.
Absolutely. Inventory funding. I love inventory funding too. So a lot of businesses, we work with some people that you can have a whole bunch of products with a little price point, and then all of them together are worth 500,000. Or, you were dealing with a guy with, he had a couple of used car lots.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't take very many cars to get up to $500,000
Nope.
worth of inventory. So being able to get access to a revolving line of credit, 2 to 5% rates. So all they're going to be able to do is take that inventory and basically give you 50% of that value. And there's a new product. I don't know if this just came out like last week, so I don't know if I updated you on this, Ray. If you don't have $500,000 of inventory, there's a new type of inventory funding that if you are an established, best way to say, what are the, like on Amazon, people buy and resell things on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So there's funding now, and this just came out, like, what are we, the first of the month.
For like e-commerce stuff.
Right, fintech stuff. But here's what it is. You don't have to actually have the inventory on hand to get the inventory financing. What you need to have is the track record. You need to be able to show with your P&Ls, with your tax returns, that you've made, like last year, $150,000 or more in your business.
So you can move the inventory.
Right, you're showing that you have the experience. If you have the experience to sell the inventory, you have the store, you have the rating, whatever the status that you need. People give you positive ratings. This is A+.
Wow, that's powerful.
Think about that. You can get how much funding is that? I think it's somewhere right around $250,000.
Wow, that's powerful. That really is.
And you don't have to have any actual inventory on hand. So I'm excited about that new lender. Book of business. I love this, except for the very last line there, because our agent, can't do that. But book of business, this is really for the insurance agents. If you wanted to buy another agency or another agent's book of business, you can do that. But that's a lot of money. How do you get the money to do that? Well, there are people that lend money so that you can buy another agent's book of business. I mean, up to 120% of the surrender value can be funded.
Nice.
And I can't use State Farm agents, but this idea right here of the book of business sparked a whole different idea for you when it comes to real estate. We kind of talked about that a little bit with the commercial stuff.
Well, it's all just using what you're buying as a way to guarantee the payments. So that's really what the book of business is. This is the #1 way that agents buy other agencies, and the way that they guarantee the debt is the business that they're buying. And so commercial real estate, when you're buying an apartment, it's actually a lot easier to buy an apartment because that's a business itself. And so you use that business as a way to show that you can repay that debt.
Because there are so many different tenants and they're each paying their rent.
Right.
So there's a certain amount of cash flow that's coming in. That's what formulates part of the cap rate.
Right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Equipment funding. This is good stuff as well, because a lot of people, they're looking to start a business, but you got to buy equipment. You got to have machinery. It takes money to make money, but you can get equipment funding for a lot of these different higher dollar amount pieces of equipment. It's $10,000 or more for any specific equipment. There's funding where, again, you're collateralizing the actual equipment themselves. If you don't make the payment, repo man shows up, right? And takes that back. There is a credit check, but a 580 is all you need. That means that all you have to have is fair credit, not good credit,
right? Fair credit,
right? But this is great because of the credit requirements, and there's no actual cash flow requirements. This is perfect for startups.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys, in Tucson that do like metal work and automotive parts and CNC machines and all sorts of stuff, tractors, all that good stuff.
That's right. Now, then we were talking about the equipment sale leaseback, and this also works with vehicles. So I guess this is why we put it over here, because before we were talking about commercial vehicles, just purchasing the commercial vehicles. But along with equipment, your commercial vehicle, especially if you own your commercial vehicle, it can be collateralized, which is great. So you just have to, whatever the equipment or the vehicle is, has to have a value greater than $10,000.
Yep.
And then you can borrow against that. And terms can be anywhere from 1 year to 4 years. So this is great. Again, very low credit requirements to get into this with low interest rates. So, and I mean, this is a great way to be like, oh man, we're starting to be, maybe the revenue is starting to come down and we still have payroll taxes, to make. Well, great, let's leverage the value of a piece of equipment or a vehicle to make those payments.
What I really like about this, Joseph, is it starts to get the wheels turning and thinking outside the box. There was this guy that, now it wasn't me personally that was working with him, but one of our associates was working with him. He wanted to get into the business and he wanted $10,000 of startup capital, and he went around and he was trying to find somebody with good credit, and nobody had good credit that wanted to actually go in with him. But his grandfather had a farm and he had this big old tractor worth $30,000. And so what he did was, the grandfather wasn't even using the tractor anymore. And what he was able to do is just basically take a loan against that and go into business that way and just make the payments. And so it's thinking outside the box on ways that you can raise capital.
It's like a reverse mortgage, but on equipment.
Yeah. It's like it's more favorable terms than car loan, but payday loan type thing.
Absolutely. This is one I have to tell you. I mean, I know I sound like a broken record, but collaterals of securities, you can borrow up to 90% of the stock value. And this is a 5-year loan, or sometimes they also give credit lines. And we're talking about the prime rate +2. So that would be in today's numbers, somewhere between 4 to 6%. No credit requirements are necessary. And pretty much any stock or bond is accepted. But here's why I like this, Ray. You're starting a business and you need some help, and you go to dad. Dad's got, you need $50,000 to get this business out of the ground. Dad would love to help you out, but dad would have to sell all of his stocks. And in a down economy, you're going to sell all these stocks. You can maybe get 50,000 out of them, but I mean, you're going to take such a huge loss.
That's when you actually realize the loss. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, yeah, there's the capital loss and stuff like that. But here's the thing that I think is powerful. When you borrow against the security like this, you still get to keep the security. Mm-hmm. The interest, the appreciation of the stock, if everything bounces back, so from the person who has the stock, say it's dad, he never sees anything. Nothing changes for him. He still has his security. The only way he would lose it is if you actually went out of business. But that's why you would do your homework and you put together your business plan and your model, and you have your all your different things that you're trying to do to be successful. And you would really showcase, here is my plan for success. Here's, I'm borrowing this money and this is what I'm going to do with it. And here's how I'm going to make money with it. And then here's several other exit strategies if things don't happen to go the right way. A well-conceived, thorough business plan. And when you have that, there can be loved ones, family, friends that would love to be a part of it, would love to invest with you, but they don't have the money on hand. But they're holding on to some bonds.
Ooh, yeah.
Or something. It's just sitting there, not doing anything for them. Why not?
Leverage.
I love it.
Leverage.
Same thing with the 401k and the IRA. A lot of people don't realize that there are lenders out there that will lend money based off of using your 401k and your IRA as collateral. Most people understand if I take money out early, that's an early distribution, that comes with tax penalties. Mm-hmm. Some people know that there's a way for me to borrow some money, like up to pull some money out as a borrow and then pay it back with interest, right? This is neither of those.
Right. Like the standard is like we said, or you could borrow up to $50,000, up to half, up to $50,000. Mm-hmm. That's like you could work with your HR department for that. But
what if you left all of the money in your 401k?
Hey, there you go.
Or all of your money, leave it all in your IRA and borrow up to 100% of that value.
That's good stuff.
And if you don't pay it back, all of the value in that 401k goes to your creditor. But again, a 5-year loan, prime +2%, I mean, there is a lender fee of close to $2,000, but that's rolled in. It's not like you pay that up front. These type of ways, this is the creative way that so many people, I guess here's what I'm saying, so many people use this for so many things. Here's my point when I'm talking about these people. There are a lot of people who are fed up. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They've waited too long for Washington to solve their problems, and it's a long wait for a train that's never going to come. And so they're like, I need to make a change. I want to do this, but I'm scared starting a business because of everything that's happening in the economy, or I don't know what I'm doing. And finally, somebody's like, yes, I'm going to do it. When you commit to something and you say, I'm going to do it. I don't know how or where I'm going to get the money to do this, but I'm going to do it. And all that takes is that commitment. Once you have that commitment, there are so many different ways where we can help you find money. And you might be saying to me, Joseph, I don't have a 401k. I don't have an IRA. And what do I always say to that? What do we say to somebody who says to us, I don't have a 401k?
Well, do you know somebody that has a 401k or an IRA?
Exactly. And then you're like, no, everybody that I know is just as broke as me.
Well,
so then what do we say to that?
Do you know somebody who knows somebody that owns it?
Exactly. Because there's no shortage of money that is out there. Look, I don't know if I told you this, but when I wanted to, when I was first courting Emily, my wife, and I just knew, I committed in my heart, I'm going to marry this chick. I mean, I don't have a job. I'm living with my parents at the time. I'm 30 years old, right? And I'm like, I got to make something of myself. And once I made that decision that I was going after her, at the time I was in college, again, for the second time, I finished that degree, got a job, right? And I went and, I just totally changed it. And I went and bought my own first house. Well, no, it wasn't. I didn't buy a house. I rented an apartment, but I got my own place. I was out of my parents' house. Right?
There you go.
But all of this, none of that was happening when I was just living with my parents. But once I committed to making a decision, those things changed. I wanted to marry her, but I didn't have money for a ring, right? So I borrowed money, right? And I got the ring, paid it all off. But I'm just saying that because I knew in my heart that I decided that woman's going to be mine. And then I realized, well, to make that happen, I've got to make all these changes. It just happens. When you set your mind to something, it happens. If you decide, you know what, I'm going to go to college. Well, college can cost $100,000. Do we just say, nah, I'm not going to do that then? No, I mean, if you decide, no, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be an attorney, I'm going to be an engineer, right? You're going to go and you're going to find a way to make that happen.
Excellent. Yes, very true.
I just say there's the power of commitment. Power of commitment.
The only way it won't work is if you basically give up.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about funding that's available for if you have credit, funding that's available if you have cash flow, funding that's available if you have collateral. But what if, Ray, you don't have credit, cash flow, or collateral? What can you do?
You can build business credit. That's kind of the catch-all to everything.
Are you reading my slides?
It just happened to be there, but it is the catch-all.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It solves all problems.
I would say that it's a wonderful tool that a lot of people don't know about because some people they just psych themselves out. Start a business. I mean, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, I can't do it. We're working with one lady who has all the skills and the resources to start a business, but the fact that you use the word start your own business totally scares her.
It does. It is. And it always goes back to, somebody, I compare it to this. I meet so many people that are like, oh, Ray, you don't want to own rental properties. Oh, no. Let me tell you about all the problems with rental properties. Your tenants will destroy everything, this and that. And it's but it's not, they knew somebody that had that fear. And so they've now adopted that fear.
Well, Ray, you've had water damage. You've had evictions.
Absolutely.
You've had, tenants destroy the property.
Absolutely. So
do you have rentals?
Absolutely. Can't get them quick enough. Because when you have the knowledge, knowledge mitigates risk and fear. Mm-hmm. So That's why we keep coming to you every single week to reduce that risk for you, reduce that fear, so you can move forward effectively.
Absolutely. And with business credit, this is credit that you get that's in your business's name, your business's EIN number, and it has nothing to do with your personal social security number, has nothing to do with a personal guarantee, no credit checks. It's not going to be based off of utilization or inquiries, all these things that we deal with on the personal side. Business credit is going to be completely independent, and and you can grow it. And I mean, we use business credit in so many fabulous ways. There's so many that we've used it as ways to help us raise capital. We've used it as ways to guarantee capital. We've used it, in ways to actually establish new lines of or streams of income that come in. So business credit gives you so many different options that you don't have without it. And so many people are like, well, I don't know. I mean, it's like if you could have an additional $50,000 or $150,000 in lines of credit that don't show up on your personal credit report that you can use, and you have to use it the right way, of course, but you can use to pay for personal expenses that you now adopt into legitimate business expenses. This can lower your debt to income ratio. This could lower your utilization. This would ultimately raise your personal credit score.
Yeah. I mean, Denise, she was asking, is debt utilization a factor on personal credit?
Absolutely. I mean, 5 factors of personal credit are your credit history, number 1, 35%, right? Credit utilization, number 2, 30% of your credit score is just that. You have your inquiries, you have your mix of accounts, and you have your age of accounts.
And then, so when we use personal credit for business credit, though.
So if you want to give a personal guarantee on your business credit, they're gonna when they look at you, what they are going to evaluate you right off the bat. You need to have good credit, 680 or better, right? You need to have your utilization under 40%. You need to have you have to have an open credit line to begin with, right? You can't have, no mixed accounts. So they are going to look at your FICO score, and they're going to look at all 5 areas, right? You need to have age of account, mix of accounts. You've got to have low inquiries, less than 4 inquiries in the past 6 months, right? These are things that they are going to look for. I mean, that essentially everything that I'm laying out is what is the definition of a good credit score, right? If you're out of alignment on any of those things, you won't have a 680 credit score. You'll have a lower credit. So if you have 680, 700, or you have a better credit score, the odds are that you really do have the right mix of accounts, everything is right. Sometimes what we see though is the utilization might be a little too high. It could be at 50 or 60% utilization. It starts creeping up on you. But we also have a whole nother program called bridge loans. And we're not really talking about that, but there are people that'll lend you money for 30 days to bring down your utilization. So what if if you looked at all of your accounts and you really needed $10,000 to bring down one of your accounts so that it got under the 40%. And then by doing that, that would give you access to $120,000. Would you take a $10,000 loan for 30 days to get access to $120,000 in the line of credit that you then, once you have your $120,000, you go back, pay the $10,000 off plus the interest rate? I mean,
but once it's in your business's name, then that does not affect your utilization.
Right. So initially getting approved for the lines of credit does, but then once it's in your business, it never shows up on your utilization. It doesn't show up on the inquiries. Now, there are people out there, there's different banks, and I won't say Capital One or anything like that, right? But there's certain banks out there that say they do business credit, but it actually reports on your personal credit. And that throws a lot of people off. So you gotta watch out for banks out there like that. But you know what? A lot of great questions. And we want you to know, hey, look, if you're looking to get approved for $150,000 or more, whether it's in lines of credit or you're looking for one of those different funding programs based off of collateral, which we talked about today, you can call us for a free consultation. That's 888-524-9273. Again, that's 888-524-9273. And when you call us, you're able to get in touch with either me or Ray Fleming. We'll go ahead and listen to what your business is, what your goals are. We can actually collect the information, get it over to our loan officers who will find you the right broker, the right program, the right lender. Maybe it's an alternative lender. Maybe it's one of the major banks. But we will help you find the right lenders. We don't charge any money for this. What we do is, this is a complete service that we offer, but we get you the money that you need. Now, I always recommend that while you're out there getting approved for funding, you need to be building your business credit. It is the best way to protect yourself, because you personally guarantee, if you do go out and personally guarantee those lines of credit, you're going to want a plan to remove that personal guarantee. Nothing better than getting an excellent business credit rating that you can use to go out and remove the personal guarantee like that. Folks, I really enjoyed our time together today. If anything we said helped you out, if you found any value at all, please click the like button, subscribe, even hit the little bell that says, hey, I want to hear more of your live content when it comes out there. Because by doing that, you tell YouTube that this isn't a sales pitch for anything. This is actually legitimate content. And when you do that, more people can hear about this and we can help change more lives. And that's really what we're trying to do. Ray and I, with the Wise Guys in Ties, see it as our job to help people achieve their God-given purpose in this world by giving them the resources that they need to achieve their dreams. And if that's you or that's someone you know, please have them give us a call or email us or go to our website and schedule a free 30-minute consultation. On behalf of myself, Joseph Smith, and Ray Fleming,
Good night, everybody.
I want to say good night and God bless.